And that's the story we want to begin and stick with here at 6 o'clock. Hurricane Milton closer to slamming into Florida's west coast now, as it's considered one of the top 5 most intense Atlantic hurricanes since record-keeping began.
All right, let's show you this. Bumper-to-bumper traffic here at I-75 northbound. This is a look at the northbound lanes, but I can tell you as I was looking at traffic data, southbound lanes are also a slow go this morning for people trying to get out of Milton's way and evacuate safely. Officials are warning that the storm could be deadly. So tolls in Tampa and Orlando along Alligator Alley have been suspended this morning and throughout the storm. Milton, now a Category 4 hurricane, poses a potential direct hit to Tampa Bay.
All right, obviously this is the focus of what we're talking about this morning because it's going to affect so many people across our state. We appreciate you tuning in with us on NBC6 today. I'm Chris Anderson.
And I'm Constance Jones. Milton is expected to make landfall on the West Coast as soon as tomorrow. And of course, NBC6 is on your side with team coverage with impacts extending in the Tampa Bay area all the way back home here in South Florida.
First up, the latest on Milton's projected path. Let's get over to First Alert meteorologist Chelsea Ambrose, who's been watching the storm very closely. One difference we noted is it's gone from a 5 down to a 4. Is there something happening with the storm right now?
Yeah, so overnight, really with the 11 o'clock update into that 2 a.m. update, now we're at the 5 o'clock update, we're starting to see the eye wall replacement. So that's really the only reason why it's weakened at its core, but it will gain structure once it regains its structure, which you can kind of already start to see here, that eye starting to be more defined. It will strengthen back up to a Category 5 storm. And so as of right now, it is still a high-end Cat 4. Max sustained winds at 155. A Cat 5 is 157. So we're talking 2 miles per hour difference here. It's moving east-northeast at 12 miles per hour. So it is starting to take that northeast turn, that northeast track, and that is what's going to push it closer to Florida. We will see the hurricane hunters go into the storm later on this morning, and we'll get minute-by-minute updates from them, and that will give us a little bit better handle on exactly what this storm is going to do as it takes that turn. But forecast track notice it gets up to a Cat 5 by later on today. By tomorrow morning, back down to a Cat 4, but again, 155, that is still a high-end Category 4 storm. It will run into shear, weaken just a little bit, but dare I say weaken? I want to say more like downgrade, because a major hurricane, a Category 3 storm, will still make a landfall in western parts of Florida. But the impacts, as we're saying, way more outreaching than where that center is going to go. We're going to experience widespread power outages from the wind. The wind field itself is going to be so large that it's not just where it makes a landfall. Storm surge is going to stretch anywhere from the Big Bend down into the Florida Keys. We could see 1 to 3 foot surge even in the Florida Keys. So the impacts from this are going to be well far reaching from just where it makes a landfall. Tropical storm force conditions already working into the Yucatan. Notice some of the most dangerous conditions are just to the north around that center. Again, getting back up to a Cat 5 as it moves closer and closer to the Sunshine State. Notice how the wind field grows. It's going to grow in size, and that is why the intensity of this storm is going to bring impacts to us. And you can even see damaging winds stretch well away from that center. Anywhere that storm surge is going to come in, that's likely going to experience the hurricane force winds. That's why hurricane warnings are well far inland as well. So that is where the widespread power outage threat comes in. We're likely to see big trees topple over, and then of course the flooding rains that come with it too on the northern side of that. So from Tampa to Jacksonville, heavy rainfall. For us, the winds are going to increase as we go into the overnight hours tonight. So yes, we'll have rain showers, isolated threat for a quick spin up today in those bands. That is not associated with Milton. Milton's outer bands will rank in our area as we get into tomorrow. Winds will be gusting 35, potentially 45 miles per hour, and that will last into Thursday because again, it's slowing down in its track just a little bit. So instead of making a landfall late Wednesday afternoon, evening, it's more likely going to be overnight Wednesday into early Thursday morning. But Julia Bagg is in Tampa this morning. Oh, Julia, we wanted to say.
Yeah, good morning to you from the port area in Tampa. Right now we were in downtown and now we've been able to find some gas here. I want to give you a look around. People coming in and out here on East Adamo Drive right by the port. We were in downtown Miami, downtown Tampa, I should say. We drove up from Miami yesterday. We were in downtown Tampa just a bit ago and looking for gas and weren't able to find some at one station, but now where we are here, plenty of gas at this Citgo station right by the port. People are making preparations. There are evacuation orders in place for lots of Tampa right now. And I'd like for you to follow me. We've been speaking with people who are gassing up, really trying to get ready. One of them, Michael Messina, good morning to you. You've been getting gas, and tell us what you're thinking about this storm right now.
Well, the only thing I can say is my father came in this country in 1956, and we had cousins here. They lived on 5th Avenue, so this is 1st Avenue, Adamo Drive. So when he came to this country in 1956, they said, you need to tell the next generation how bad it could get over here, okay? They lived through it. It was very scary, okay? The storm of 1921, which they say this is going to be even bigger. I think this is going to be bigger because it's a Category 5. So the water got all the way to 7th Avenue. So the storm surge is real. So if you're here, you need to get the hell out of here.
Well, certainly in evacuation zones, we know that people have been heading out. And so you're getting gas. What are your plans?
Well, I have my office right across the street. So I'm in the ship supply company. I'm in the ship business. We took everything out of the warehouse yesterday. And I'm over here taking a couple more things, personal items, and that's it. I mean, that's all we can do. I protected my business.
Sure.
And whoever lives around here, they need to do the same thing. They need to protect their assets, their business, get their cars out of here, because it's going to flood if we get a direct hit.
Absolutely. Michael Messina, thank you so much for speaking with us this morning. Other folks getting gas here as well. And yeah, you heard him talk about the threat of the storm surge. And Chelsea, you had mentioned it before, in parts of potentially up to 15 feet here if we do get that potential direct hit here in the Tampa Bay area. Reporting live this morning, we'll send it back to you in the studio, Chris and Constance.
All right, Julia, thank you so much. Well, one of the biggest concerns before Hurricane Milton makes landfall is all that debris left behind from Hurricane Helene nearly 2 weeks ago. Take a look at this. People that we spoke to say that much of what they owned is already ruined, but now they fear the city won't collect all the piles of debris in time.
Biggest concern is all of this becoming projectiles and all the drains go straight into the bay. So the pollution and the danger is definitely elevated.
That's Brooke Bulbs there. Him and his family says they're not sticking around for Milton like they did with Helene. President Joe Biden posting this image on social media saying that he spoke with Governor Ron DeSantis and the mayor of Tampa Monday night. The president reassuring support for our state. We're expecting to get an update from Governor Ron DeSantis later this morning.
All right. And here in South Florida, flooding remains one of the top concerns, especially for those who had to rebuild following this historic flooding event back in April of 2023. NBC6's Bree Buckley is live for us in Hollywood with more on some of the preparations. And I know that the city and the county as a whole has made preparations for this storm to try and anticipate the flooded areas.
Yeah, Chris, in the last hour, we've actually seen utility trucks driving up and down, monitoring areas like right here where you see some flooding, as well as the pumps that are ready, trying to pump out the water that we've already seen from recent rainfall. Officials saying to focus on being prepared, though, instead of panicking. Leaders have declared a state of emergency here in Broward County. Broward will not take a direct hit, but the storm's approach brings the threat of heavy rain, powerful winds, and flash flooding. Fort Lauderdale Mayor Dean Trentalis says the biggest challenge will be flooding.
Please, I urge everyone to take Milton seriously. Hurricanes can be unpredictable, and we do not want any loss of life or property. So stock up, make sure you take care of your preparations, avoid flooded areas, and most of all, stay safe.
You heard the message from the mayor there. They're telling you to stock up, have at least 3 days worth of supplies, food, water, anything you may need. If you need a guide, of course, we do have a full hurricane guide on our app and on our website. For now, reporting live, Bree Buckley, NBC6 News.
Bree, thanks so much. We want to take you live now to downtown Miami, where people across Miami-Dade are bracing for whatever impact we feel from Hurricane Milton, still yet to be determined. We're not going to get a direct impact, but we could see some high wind. We could see some heavy rain, some flash flooding. Today, the county is opening up an evacuation center at the Pavilion at Tamiami Park for anyone who lives in a mobile home and needs to get out. More than a dozen temporary pumping stations are being set up to prevent flooding. Bree just showed us some of those pumping stations in Broward County. They're doing the same thing there. A woman who had to evacuate from the Fort Myers area came here to South Florida with her family so she could ride out the storm.
Packing a bag and not knowing how long you're going to stay somewhere, that's definitely really hard. Hearing that another one is coming and impacting the same area, and just, it's scary.
It is scary. And although we're not in the eye of the storm, county officials say it's still good to have a plan in place. It's never a bad idea to be prepared. Have some non-perishable food, some basics like water and stuff that can last you, your medication for at least 3 days.
Good reminders there. Also, for all the kiddos out there and parents, public schools in Broward and Miami-Dade County are scheduled to be open today, this Tuesday. However, in Broward County, they are canceling all after-school activities today and will be closed tomorrow and Thursday. Miami-Dade County, they are suspending all school-related activities as of 6 p.m. this afternoon and closing schools starting tomorrow. All Archdiocese Catholic schools in Miami-Dade County and Broward County will be closed starting tomorrow. Now, both Florida International University and the Miami-Dade College campuses are canceling classes as of 5 o'clock today through tomorrow. Broward College and the University of Florida are open today, but they're suspending all classes tomorrow and Thursday. We'll keep you updated both on air and online about any other changes with these closures.
There are several sandbag distribution sites that are still going to be open today if you need to stock up. If you're in North Miami Beach and a resident, you can go to the Fleet Maintenance Building from 7 o'clock this morning until 4 p.m. Pompano Beach also opening its site again today right across the street from Air Park Park. That starts at 9 o'clock. And Deerfield Beach, you can go to Goolsby Boulevard from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Now remember, proof of residency is required for all three sites.
All right, let's talk traffic this morning. Our big story, all the evacuees heading into town. This is I-75 southbound, just north of Fort Myers. But we've got some major traffic delays out there with folks heading into our location. Some backups there. Also, folks heading north on I-75, I should mention that. Now, the tollways in Tampa and Orlando and along Alligator Alley will be suspended during this time. Of course, that's because of the mandatory evacuation orders that are in place along the West Coast. We'll be right back. Also, for everything you need to know about Hurricane Milton and the most up-to-date information, just scan this QR code right here on your screen this morning. It'll take you to our live weather blog where our weather team, our First Alert meteorologists, and our experts are updating the information all day long.